Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Star Raptor. Welcome back to the channel. My computer is back from the grave. I had a malfunctioning motherboard, but I have since replaced that. And if you know anything about computers, when you replace your motherboard, it's basically starting over again. So I had to get a new solid state drive, had to load Windows 10 and then update to 11 and update a bunch of software, log into a bunch of different accounts, and here I am back again. So I am actually talking about the comic that came out last week, as well as the comic that came out today, May 22nd. So we're going to jump back into history now, it would be, for Mace Windu. This is the end of this miniseries written by Mark Bernardin, Jorge Janti. This is, of course, number 4, and it's subtitled Showdown. So last we left off, Mace Windu was on his journey from the Jedi Council. This is before he's on the Jedi Council. He is a knight that is traveling around the galaxy. He has a contact he's going to meet that has this coaxium ultra. And it shouldn't fall into the hands of any other ne'er-do-wells. So this person, Azita Cruz, contacts a whole bunch of different organizations to sell this off to make a little bit of money. So of course the Republic, the Jedi, want to get this first. So the last couple issues, last 3 issues, are pretty good. I mean, Mace Windu has found her. They've been on the run for a couple different gangs, and we just seen in the last issue, the big cliffhanger was they're about to get on a freighter getaway, and that is when this organization comes by, and these thugs that are these believers of this guy called the Shroud, and they are all about there shouldn't be technology, you shouldn't be using all this, tech and whatnot, so electronics and whatnot. So basically we have a battle. This is a big battle issue to end things off for this miniseries. We have Zeta Cruz that is kind of going in the shadows of her ship and taking guys out with frying pans, or the Star Wars equivalent of a frying pan. Meanwhile, Mace is not taking anybody out with lethal force, but he is certainly dispatching these people. And then we get into the leader. The leader comes by, and he is called the Shroud, and he is a Deveronian. And it's really cool kind of dialogue going back and forth between Mace and him, because he is all about being on the light side and the dark side, almost like a gray Jedi, if you will. I know that's kind of a loaded term for the community, as far as gray Jedi, should they exist, should they not exist, yada, yada, yada. But it was really neat because this guy, this Deveronian, he was trained as a Jedi. He never finished his school. He went off and he did his own thing, but it was really neat seeing Mace fighting with this guy who has some kind of electro staff, and then at one point Mace is taking out the landing struts on the ship to crush him, and then he's using the force to push it back up, and Azita Cruz is firing down on the same ship with Mace's Jedi Starfighter to destroy him. But then he comes back from the dead at the end, and we leave off with the end question mark, which is funny enough because a lot of these Marvel miniseries have been ending that way recently. So it's like, oh, are we going to see more Mace? Apparently him and Azita Cruz are going to go back and visit their home world of Harun Kal. Nice reference to the Shatterpoint book that I really enjoyed. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on in this issue. A lot of great action, a lot of great dialogue, and overall I enjoyed this miniseries a lot more than the other Jedi of the Republic Mace Windu miniseries. I think this one had more to say. It was neat seeing Mace at this time of his life when he's not a general of the Jedi, and we get to see him, in those formative years, so to speak. But yeah, this was a really solid miniseries. Enjoyed this one quite a bit. Next up, we have the marquee flagship Star Wars issue number 46, The Trial of Lando Calrissian, Part 3, Deliberations. So we now know who has captured Mon Mothma and hold her up for ransom. It's this crew that apparently Lando and Chewie, I think, even had run-in with at some point. So Lando is basically given a mission to go and help these people, even though he's a prisoner, he's on trial. They think that he could be useful, and Kez Dameron, who is part of this Pathfinder strike team, commanded by Crix Maydeen, has them going all across the galaxy to try to find out where Mon Mothma is. Meanwhile, Mon Mothma is being interrogated by her captors there, but she's spinning it on them, even though she's the one that's supposed to be, kind of like on the receiving end of torture and different things. She kind of spins the story and becomes the dominant one in this conversation with this other woman, and then talks about her reasoning for joining or standing up against the Empire, and it all goes back to this different kind of vine peach, sorry. I guess I'm a little rusty from not doing this for 2 weeks. Vine Peach, when she's like 14 or 15, and the Empire basically takes the peaches away, and then nobody can have them anymore. And that's kind of like the thing that drummed up her anger against the Empire. It was like, that's what the Empire's doing to the galaxy. They're taking away things that nobody else can use and do anymore, taking away freedom from people essentially, and that is what got her spurred on to do this. What I also liked is there's a reference to when they're doing this whole mission briefing, Kez Dameron is given the okay to, in case worst comes to worst, it's implied that he's gonna have to kill Mon Mothma rather than her be captured and given in, to the Empire. So similar to Rogue One, where we see Cassian, who is dedicated to the rebellion. At that point, he's going to take out Galen Erso. That is his mission, even though he's, not a violent guy or anything, a bad guy. He's just working for the Empire that has too much information. So it's really cool seeing kind of the through line, that the rebellion is not all, bright and cheery and yeah, freedom. It's there's some dark things that they have to come to grips with just to survive in this really war-torn galaxy. Another thing that's really cool about this is the inclusion of a droideka that's in one of the safe houses as they're trying to find where Mon Mothma is. So it's neat seeing, Chewie going up against a droideka. You got these original trilogy characters that have to stand toe-to-toe with a prequel type of machine. It's always good to see. It is looking like Lando is going to be... So basically what happens is Lando does find Mon Mothma. She has a conversation with him. He's basically doing this and kind of hinting like, oh, maybe you'll get me off the hook since I saved your life, right? So that is where we leave off with Mon Mothma going back to the home one. They're going to get this trial started underway, even though she's obviously, hurt and in pain. She wants to get this over with. So it looks like we might get a resolution a lot sooner than later. And that's why I like this issue so much. It's very economical in its design, as far as, okay, we're going to see this entire story through already. We don't have to deal with these mercenaries anymore. Let's get right back into it. This is 46, so we really only have like maybe 4 issues left of this entire series from the sounds of it. So there's a lot to tie up, but Charles Soule is a great one up for the task because he could tie it all together in this good order here. But yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts on Mace Windu number 4 and Star Wars issue number 6. What'd you think about them? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on these comics, I talk about them in greater detail every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern over on the Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel. We do a show, me and Matthew, called Tractor Beam, where we talk about the week's releases in comics in a long discussion form. So go ahead, subscribe over there, subscribe here, of course, if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. May the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.